guys, welcome back to another video with InfoSec Pat. In today's video, we're going to be talking about red team engagements from TryHackMe. If you are guys new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and of course share the content. The more exposure, the better, correct? So I just got done with doing the red team fundamentals in the last video, and this is just going to feed on top of that for the engagements. Okay, so the red team engagements, these are you're going to learn the steps to proceed a red team engagement, including planning the framework and documentation. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do the introduction. I believe there's 8 tasks, 10 tasks. Okay, so the introduction, some of the keys to be successful on a engagement. Okay, we're not going to read word for word. You guys can do that. We're just going to do the walkthrough. Okay, so some of the objectives that we're going to be learning is tabletop exercises, adversary emulation, physical assessment. Okay, so learning these objectives, you're going to understand the components and features of a red team engagement. We're going to go ahead and learn how to properly plan for the engagement, and we're going to understand how to write the documentation. Okay, so we can just hit complete here, and hooray, we got it. Okay, so now we can hit this down and go to defining scope and objectives. Okay, so in here, we're going to go ahead and just read the objectives and all this good stuff. So engagements can be very complex, right? It all depends on what kind of engagement you're doing. If you're doing a smaller engagement, if it's a larger company, and all that good stuff. Okay, so the client objectives should be discussed between you and the client and the red team, right? Like if you're the red teamer, and the red team, the company that's providing the red team engagement, you're going to discuss this between you and your client, okay, to make sure everything is up to par, right? You want to set the objectives and make sure everything is good, and the engagement is documented for the engagement documentation and planning, but you want to make sure it's documented because you want to make sure everything's in scope for what you're allowed to do. Okay. So, we can keep reading down, and so the engagements can be categorized between a general internal network penetration test or a focused adversary emulation. What does this mean? So you can, you do like that internal network penetration test, hack Active Directory, do your internal, see if you can see any low hanging fruit. Say, for an example, you found a SQL server that has a SA account and that it has no password. How are you going to go about, compromising that machine? And then, maybe pivot from there to another machine, etc. So then, a focus, we can have a focus in adversary emulation, and it will be defined to a specific ATP or a group to emulate this engagement. Okay, so we can keep moving. So let's keep going. So pretty much the next keystone is to see, let's see what the scope of this engagement is. As you can see here, like the specifics of the scope and wording will always look different. So below is an example of what we want to, look at within a client scope, right? So say, for example, they say, I don't want you exfiltrating any data. The production servers are off limits, saying, okay, don't touch my SQL box, my Exchange box, my real file server, but anything maybe in the development section, you're able to go to town, right? So 10.0.3.8/18 is out of scope. So pretty much this is off limits. Do not touch this subnet, right? So 10.0.0.8/20 is in scope. So this is saying, okay, you have the green light to do that, right? So system downtime is not permitted under any circumstances. So maybe we cannot take a system down. We can't do a DDoS. We can't, blow up a machine. All right. So, and obviously, exfiltrating any PII is prohibited. So this is, personal identifiable information. This is saying no. This is a no. Thank you, but come back again. Okay. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. All right. So let's go ahead. There's no answer needed here. So we're going to read the example. and of the client objective and answer the following questions. Okay, so example one is global enterprises. The objective, we're going to identify system misconfigurations and network weaknesses. We're going to determine if the effectiveness of the endpoint detection and response systems. We're going to evaluate, the posture and response, the SIM tools, the remediation, segmentation of the demilitarized zone, or also known as a DMZ, and the internal servers. And we can use a white cards. Uh, use use of white cards is permitted depending on the downtime and length, right? So we learned that in the last video, I believe. We were talking about white cards. This is prohibited, so it permits you to do whatever it's in scope. So we're going to evaluate the impact of the data exposure and exfiltration. All right. So the scope, system downtime is prohibited, but we already looked at everything that's in scope, right? So we can't take PII is prohibited. Attacks against systems within the 10.10.4 network is prohibited, and the one in the 12 network is prohibited. No, prohibited and permitted. Sorry. So you're allowed to do 4.0, but you're not allowed to do 12.0. That's my bad. Okay. So yeah, so Bean Enterprise will closely monitor the interaction with the DMZ and critical production systems. Okay, so any interaction with the dot uh, uh, Beth chain dot uh, XYZ is prohibited, and global enterprises dot HTM, which is TryHackMe, is permitted. Okay, well, this was a mouthful. All right, so we can go ahead and answer that. So so now we're going to start doing a walkthrough, right? What CIDR range is permitted to be attacked? So which one are we allowed to? Which is going to be the 10.10.0 10.10.4.0/22. Let's see if we give that a submit, and if we get it right, bada bing, bada boom, we got that one right. Okay, is the use of white cards permitted? Yes, it is, because we saw that up here, right? White cards, what use white cards permitted? So yes, I want to say why. Okay, woohoo! All right, so are you permitted to access dot or asterisk? So pretty much any wildcard dot. Uh, I don't know if it's be the change, or I don't know, be the change dot XYZ. So that is no, right? Because we're not allowed to. It's prohibited. So the answer is N. No. Boom. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to rules of engagement. Okay. So let's download task file. Let's see if we can just open this up. All right. Let's see what this is. Rules of engagement. Let's see if we can make this a little bigger. Whoa, it's too big. Okay. So executive summary. So this is pretty much going to give us the rules of engagement. Monitor. This is pretty much everything we pretty much was reading, right? Activity reconnaissance, access types, phishing, physical and social engineering, assume brief scenario, impact, and I think that's it. But you guys can read through this. We can continue with the walkthrough. Okay, so this is pretty much the section name, section details, executive summary, purpose, references, scope, and so on and so forth. Rules of engagement, support agreement, and there's a lot of stuff to read here. You can go through that and you know, give it a jingle, right? So let's just keep going down. I guess for this task, you need to. Okay, let's go ahead and read this short document. Okay, so I guess red team rules of engagement. This is probably just a little rules of engagement summary, and I believe they just used this in their in their uh, in their engagement form, the global enterprises rules of engagement. Okay, so we can hit complete here. All right, so we can keep going down. So how many exploits how many explicit, restrictions are specified? I believe it was 3, right? Let's see if we go back. I believe it was explicit. How many explicit? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. That's what I thought. Okay, let's see if I'm right. Perfect. Awesome sauce. All right. What is the first access type mentioned in the document? I believe that was phishing. Go back up. The action. Yep. Access type is phishing. Okay. PHIN. Yep. Perfect. All right. So is the red team permitted to attack 192? No, they don't even mention that. Okay. Do they mention 192? Oh yeah, it's prohibited though. Okay. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and drop this down and go to campaign planning. Okay. So in the campaign planning, prior to this task, we have, you know, we have a whole bunch of things here. We can primarily focus on engagement planning and documentation from the business perspective, and we can go ahead and read all this. This is a lot to read. I don't want to just sit here and do like they call it death of PowerPoint. We're just gonna, click on these. We can read this. Red team, operations is probably some cool books. Okay, let's go back. Oh man, I hope I blow it up. Okay, let's go back down, and we can just. I guess that's more of a informative, campaign planning. There's nothing really to answer there. Engagement documentation. Okay, so engagement documentation is very 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 important. You want to make sure we have what we need, and you know in this context, the term document can, we can have this as far as some plans do not require proper documentation, um, and can be as simple as an email. This will cover, later in the task. So, like, we can just keep going down. I like just to go to the question. This is more just like information, mission plan, operations plan, engagement plan, and we can just read that, and we can hit complete here. There's nothing really to answer. Anything to answer here? So it's more information stuff. So concept of operations, and we can just, look down client name, service provider, time frame. We can just have our information filled out here. Read the example and answer the question. There's really nothing to answer. And Holo Enterprises hired TryHackMe as an external contractor to conduct a long structure assessment. All right, so let's just go ahead and hit correct there. Okay, perfect. Here we go. So now we say, how long will the engagement last? I think it just said 1 month. All right, so let's just do 1 month. 1 month. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. All right, how long will the red cell expect to maintain persistence? Let's just read that. All right, red cell, 3 weeks. So 3 weeks. All right, let's do that. 3 weeks. All right, perfect. What is the primary tool used within this engagement? Let's see. See if they talk about tools here. Red use Cobalt Strike as a primary red team tool. Okay, so it's Cobalt Strike. Let's just copy this so I don't have to paste. All right, submit. Boom. All right, on to the next. All right, so let's go back up and we can view this site. I guess there's a site here. All right. So we have resource plan, we have effective dates, resource summary, personal personal requirements, hardware requirements, cloud requirements, miscellaneous requirements, and all right. So let's just go back down here. Let's see if we can X out of here now. If we need that, we can revert back. Okay. So the resource plan, let's see if there's any kind. All right. So we can just hit complete here. Right. So let's go ahead and read a little bit. Uh, all right. So I think we're going to need that site up to answer some of these questions. All right. Come on. I blow it up. When will the engagement end? Need I need that back up. View the site. All right. Let's X out of here. Let's maybe refresh. I don't know what happened. Maybe I broke it. Sorry. Sorry, folks. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. So when will the engagement end? So there's a blah. So I'm assuming it's going to end engagement dates the 12th, system 12th to the 14th. I want to say the 14th. All right, let's just do 11/14/2021. That it? Okay, cool. It was either one of them, and I just took that. All right. So what is the budget the red team has for AWS Cloud? Okay, so let's go. I think there was a cloud requirement, red team requirement, but $1,000, right? So I want to say 1,000. No, does it have to have the dollar sign in front? Let's see. Okay, it said a dollar sign. All right. So all right. So next one. Sorry. Um, are there any miscellaneous requirements for this engagement? No, none. So I'm going to put N. Submit. Perfect. So now we can minimize this. We'll exit this the full screen. Bring this up. Let's go to operation plan. Okay, we should be finished here shortly. All right. So I guess there's another site. So the operations plan is a flexible document that provides specific details of an engagement and actions occurring. So let's just look at this site. And we can keep reading down here, the operations plan, blah, blah, blah. Header, personal writing, dates, customer, choose email, Slack, .io. Okay, complete this. All right. So I'm guessing we're just gonna have to look at, some of these operation plans. What phishing method will be employed during the initial access phase? So what kind of phishing? So let's go and look at that. I don't think it showed anything in here, right? No, it's probably going to be up here. So, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's just look here. Applications. All right, so the reconnaissance phase, I'm going to say spear phishing. Let's copy this. This is a phishing attack. Let's submit. Boom, we're good. Okay, so what site will be utilized for communication between client and Red Seal? So I'm guessing it's going to be IO. Copy this. We can open this up in another tab. Okay. Let's just give this a shot. See if we are right. Perfect. There we go. Okay. So we're almost there. So if there is a system outage, the red cell will continue with the engagement. So let's see. I want to say false, but Let's just look at false. Yeah, because why would you continue? That's just, I would just use common sense there. All right, so let's go ahead and bring that in. View this mission plan site. Okay, so now we're at the mission plan site. I think this should be the last one. All right, so we can complete this, and we'll go the mission. The mission plan is self-specific document. So blah. The document uses information from previous plans. All right, so the objectives, operators, it exploits, attacks, targets, users, machines, objectives. Okay, so when will the campaign end? So the campaign will end. Mission plan, engagement breakdown. Phishing campaign will be from. All right, so I'm saying 1023. So let's say 1023, 2021. All right, perfecto. Okay, so are you permitted to attack 10.10.6.78? Let's see, 78. Let's see if there's anything in here. Externals. I want to say no because I don't see it. I'm just going to say no, see if it's right. Okay. The reason why I don't see this IP address anywhere, so I would assume that it's not. That was my guess, right? So when stop, all right. So when a stop condition is encountered, you should continue working and determine the solution yourself without a team lead. I would say false. I wouldn't do that. Okay. All right. So let's go all the way down and conclusion, submit, and woohoo, we did it. So that was the walkthrough for the red team engagement on TryHackMe. If you found this informative, please like, subscribe, share, and until next time, have a good day. Bye bye.